welcome to my POA podcast, Black Hand and Beyond. This is episode 119. Tonight, this is the logo contest. I've been thinking about changing the logo for a little while, or maybe just updating it or tweaking it a little bit, so I figured we'd make a fun episode out of it, and we actually did have quite a few people. We had Robin, Montana, Jesse, Michelle, Darcy, and Scotty all sent in logo ideas. Some of them are AI generated, some are just like clip art or whatever. It's pretty cool. All of them are cool, and I had a couple other people submit too, but they decided they didn't want to be on tonight. That's fair. That's fine. We also have some great sponsors to talk about tonight. So 3 great sponsors. Of course, it's sponsored in part by Jackson's of Enid right there. We're sitting at Jackson's right now in the studio. So people are joining right now. Jan's on, Terry's on. It seems like the state of Iowa always jumps on first. So, but we did get 27 different logos. Some of them look pretty close. They just tweaked them a little bit. So we're going to go over those tonight. And we're actually going to talk about the history of the logo that we did in 2021 when I started this podcast and named it My POA Podcast, Black Hand and Beyond, and then how we went from there, and then now tonight. So, and I did pick one that I'm going to use. Some of them I might use for different things. So if you read the deal, people sent them in, and then I have the right to use them. So it's pretty cool. We have some pretty talented members out there. So I think people that maybe didn't understand it will get it tonight, what it was about, and just the funness of it. So let's just start the show. So episode 119, and we'll talk about the upcoming shows December 3rd and December 15th and 16th later on at the end. So stick around for that to hear about deadlines and some of the topics we're going to talk about. But again, once again, sponsored in part by Jackson's of Enid. Come join the family. We're sitting in Studio J here in beautiful Enid, Oklahoma. And then we also have 2 great POA sponsors tonight. We have Chimney Hill Ranch, of course, CHR POAs, and that's Tommy and Suzanne Tomlin from Chandler, Texas. They've been sponsors before, and they've actually been on the show before. Tommy's been on here a couple times, I believe, and we've talked about Chimney Hill Ranch, so a great breeding program there. And then, of course, the Montana Pony Connection, Dan and Bonnie Smith from Willow Creek, Montana. They were the topic a couple weeks ago, and I think people learned a lot about their beautiful place up there in Montana and some of the cool things they do with their POAs. They don't advertise as much, and since they are in Montana, they're not quite centrally located. Some people maybe didn't know a lot about them, but they have some great ponies up there and a good program going. So, and then of course I was playing around and put both their logos together there. So that's kind of cool. Again, Montana Pony Connection and Chimney Hill Ranch. And then here's Tommy Tomlin with his Grand Champion Stallion from a few years back, CHR. He's tough enough. He was the first small stallion to win Grand Champion Stallion in the modern height limit. So he was actually the second one to do it. Now there's been 3, but he was the first one in the 14 hand limit, or 56 inches. So that's pretty cool. And he's still one of his stallions. And then of course this guy, they call him Dusty. He's CHR, destined to be tough, and he's a good looking stallion. That's him probably as a 3 or 4 year old, just in his everyday working clothes there. But here he is when he won the international for youth stallions with Kira there, and that's Tommy standing there too. So he won the youth stallions. I think he was second in his class that year in the yearling stallions, but he does have a blue ribbon around his neck and a trophy there. So he's a national champion, and like I say, he's one of his stallions too. And then this actually has a Montana connection here, but this is CHR Mighty. CHR The Sunday Kid, and it's out of a mare that came from Montana, from Dan and Bonnie Smith. But this is one of Tommy and Suzanne's 2025 colts. And then this is another one here. This is the Mighty Lucky, CHR Mighty Lucky. And I think these are both by He's Tough Enough. But he's a 2025 colt as well. And and then, of course, this is the Montana Connection, their POAs, and you just see, like I always said, he actually blew this up for Mary in Colorado, and they said he gave this to her as a picture, but just the background, the scenery, and I haven't seen a bad-looking POA off of the Montana Pony Connection yet off their place. This was the stallion they had there for years, TNT Finder, and then this is one of their mares, and just some beautiful postcard-looking POAs they have up there in picturesque Montana. And there's that gelding we talked about. You can go back and watch that episode if you want to. Hello, Montana. We're talking about Montana, but Montana spelled a little different. Krogman from Iowa, she's on tonight. We're going to see one of her renderings of the logo here in a little while. So speaking of the logo, here we go. So this is the logo that David Brewer sent me probably around episode 9 or so back in 21 when I started the show. It was 2021. I'd probably did 8 or 9 episodes, and I had done this basically like a second grade kid. I just cut out pictures and put my POA podcast, Black Hand, and Beyond up there, and I put Beyond in red, and my favorite color is purple, so I put my POA podcast in purple. And that was just a yearling colt. That's Dr. Chocolate. That's when he was a yearling. I just really liked that picture, even though there's hands in it and on the muzzle and stuff. I just liked the way he looked in his color. And then, of course, that's Danny Boomhauer with Black Hand. That's an iconic picture. That picture was actually on the cover of the New York Times. So if you didn't know that, back in the 50s, to promote POAs. We've been trying to promote POAs forever, so it's nothing new. We're always trying to promote POAs and get people involved in this. So this is what I'd come up with, and then this was when I played the song a couple weeks ago. This picture popped up with the song because we still have the file and the wrong file encrypted or whatever and come on. So it was kind of cool. We almost did that tonight, kind of as reminiscing, but since I'd done it a couple weeks ago, we didn't. But then David cleaned it up to this basically with the computer and stuff, and that's still the same 2 horses, and those are both real POAs. The first one ever registered, and then Dr. Chocolate, who's still around, so he's in Iowa now with Maya. So that's what we got for a logo. That's basically what I've been using. So I decided to get some other logos. There's one, but so we'll look at the 27 different logos. Pop the popcorn. Hopefully you got the popcorn popped, and you can see the logos. I'm scrolling through pictures now, getting to all of them. No real reason how I'm going to go through these. It's kind of how they were sent in, basically. And like I say, these are pretty cool. So I'm kind of waiting for some more people to join here. But there's none that I just, didn't put on because I didn't like them. Everyone that was sent to me that the people gave me permission to put them on the air, they're on here. So yeah, some you're going to see some are maybe cooler than others, but they're all neat in people's different perspectives. So the first one we're going to look at was sent in by Robin Krogman from Iowa, and she put the established in 2021, so that was kind of cool. She was the only one that did that, and then she put the yellow there, kind of reminiscing back to the original one, and or the one David did anyway. And then my POA podcast, Black Hand and Beyond, has some stars there. So this reminds me kind of a sticker because it's round. I might make a sticker out of this, Robin. I like this, and it's cool, and I may use this for some stuff. And then she's got a baby there. I never did guess who that baby was, so if anybody wants to guess who that is, of course, Montana Krogman's going to know who that is. And then there's a POA up top there too. So that was the first one that was sent in. And then her daughter Montana sent this one in. And this basically looks like my original idea, right? My original concept. I really like this one. And, it almost kind of goes back to the cross ponies almost too. One's not quite a leopard. Black Hand wasn't a true leopard, but he had the spots on the back, and then you got a blanket. So, and then we have the yellow again on the bottom and Beyond. And my name doesn't have to be on here. You're going to see my picture on some of these, and you're going to see my name on some of these. And I said you could use my name, and you could use my picture. There was some guidelines we needed, but there was no hard and fast rules on here. So I hope you dance. That's who that is. Okay, Montana said, I hope you dance. That's who that was as a baby. So that's cool. Hello, Dean. All right, so this was the one sent in by Montana Krogman from Iowa. The next 4 sent in are all kind of similar, and these are from Jesse Jeffrey. and she sent in 4, and she just kind of played with the outline there of Black Hand. And then she's got my POA podcast, Black Hand and Beyond, and then Kent Rourke, because I'm the host and the creator. And then this one, she doesn't have the yellow, she's got the black outline. I like this one too. I like this. It's cool. It's kind of a cool concept there. And then you still have the pattern. You can tell that if you know POAs, you can tell that's Black Hand pretty much, especially if you've been in POAs a minute. And then there she's got one just with the spots. That's kind of unique, right? No outline there, just the spots on there. And again, though, if you really know POAs, you know who that is. You do, even if you didn't see the other 2 prior. And then she's got that one there with some heavy lines on it, a heavy tail and back and the shoulder there. So another just version of it, which is cool. And in the flank area, she's got a line there too. So again, I want to thank everybody that sent these in and played along. It was really cool. So these were submitted by Jesse Jeffrey. Now these were submitted by Michelle White. She used to be up in Kansas. She ran the Lions Arena up there in Lyons, the Celebration Arena. And now I believe she lives in Enid. She lives here in the town where I live. So she used my face, which is a little scary, but that's okay. And then and she kind of fixed my teeth a little there. And then she used this guy right behind me, right there. She used the Breyer model of Black Hand, which is usually on every night when I have this camera angle on right here. You see that with the microphone. And so that was kind of a unique take on it. And then she just kind of played around with it. She sent in 5 different ones. So the first one I got in from Robin was one, and then Montana sent one, and then all of a sudden everybody else that sent in multiples after that. So here's another version of it. Again, kind of cool lettering on the bottom. I like that block lettering, and it's the Black Hand Breyer. And then here I'm out of the diamond, I'm in a circle. We have yellow again. A lot of people went with yellow. And same concept with the Black Hand Breyer. And then she changed it up a little bit. This kind of reminds me of a business card here a little bit, a little blocky on the top and bottom. I told you we had some talented POA members, don't we? We have some talented viewers on my POA podcast, Black Hand and Beyond, and they took their time to do this. And then I think this was her last one. This kind of reminds me of a card too, and she's got a little, etching in there next to the Breyer, so it looks like a drawing. And then me with my sheriff look going there, like I'm a county sheriff or something. So then the next ones to be sent in were sent in by Darcy Hunt. So Darcy Hunt sent these in, and she kind of took it a whole different direction. She didn't really put a horse on there. She just added some spots, put a big old star, because we know POAs, they are a star. They should be spotlighted in the equine world. So these are kind of cool too and different. And then she sent in actually 6, and her second one was a little different than the rest of them, of hers. Has a palomino there with a pattern, pretty cool pattern, and has my POA podcast like on a board up there in the middle, and then the big bold Black Hand and Beyond. So, and then the socks, and it was cut off like that. I didn't cut the legs off. That's how I got it. So a lot of these were emailed to me. And then the next few she sent in, the next 4 actually, were kind of the same pattern as the first one. Got the white and black up there, which kind of harkens back to the 50s. I don't know if that's what she was meaning, but if you think of like a 50s diner, right? That's what I kind of thought anyway, that maybe she was going for, because they're not actually spots on this one. They are square, they're blocks. And Black Hand and Beyond, and then my POA podcast on the bottom. So, which I do call it Black Hand and Beyond a lot. I mean, the technical name is my POA podcast, Black Hand and Beyond, but you'll hear me refer just to it as Black Hand and Beyond. And then I'll do Breakfast with Black Hand if I replay this tomorrow morning. I may do it tonight, or I may try to get it out in the morning where I share it to different platforms, different groups on Facebook, like owners and enthusiasts and stuff like that. And in the history group, then that'll be, I call it Breakfast with Black Hand, but it's the same show, of course. And then I do my Black Hand Blast. So here's another one from Darcy. And she went with the green there and kind of the filigree work over there, flower looking deal. My POA podcast, Black Hand and Beyond. So I hope you guys are enjoying seeing these. People took their time out to do this. I really appreciate it. It was fun that they did that. We have some more to look at too, and it just made me feel good that people actually played along. I was a little nervous that I didn't know if anybody would send anything in, but I was kind of overwhelmed by the cool ones that were sent in. So here again, she's got the lines going in the word black, and Black Hand and Beyond is real prevalent there on the top, and then my POA podcast. So that was the 6 sent in by Darcy. The next, there's one more. So this is kind of going back to, I thought a little bit, kind of like a black and white and then spots on the side. This is one of my favorites that she sent in. I like the one with the horse too, but I also like this one because it does kind of look like an older deal. So again, Black Hand is meant for the history, and then the Beyond is meant for everything. Like at the end of the show tonight, I'm going to talk about some national stuff about the convention and the Congress and stuff, and trying to promote that, being a cheerleader for that stuff. So that's the Beyond part, right? So okay, now I think we're on to, so my coworker, Scotty Jackson, he started here a year after me, so we've worked together for almost 12 years. We've sat next to each other almost that whole time. And he's really into AI. He's just about 4 years younger than me, but he knows a lot more about AI than me. He's grasped it and taken advantage of it. He uses it in his ads for on selling cars and stuff. He's a very good salesman, great salesman. He does a lot of our stuff for advertising. He takes all the pictures for our website and stuff. So he come up, and one night playing around here, he had to run and pick up his son, and then he came back and he did 10 of them. And you kind of see how he evolved within about an hour. He did all these on AI within an hour or so. And I laugh because Chat GTP or whatever he used actually put up like an old-fashioned POA, didn't they? I mean, if you look at that, that looks like it could be a real POA. It's kind of got the gray, color there, and the spots, and the neck, shorter neck and stuff. Pretty good head, all right head, a little croup but round, and all kind of cool looking. The tail just a little past the hock. So I was impressed that he just put in about POAs, and I think he might even put Pony of the Americas, and then he put what he had to have in there. He put the host and stuff, of course, because he's a coworker and friend of mine. And so that was the first one that popped up. And then this was the second one that he did. My POA podcast, Black Hand and Beyond, host Kent Rourke. And look at the mane kind of flowing there, a little more spots. So that's what AI come up with. And then it kind of went in a different direction. He took a picture of me, and I was wearing a Jackson shirt with golfers on it. You've seen me wear those shirts, different things. We have ones with palm trees and golfers and stuff. So coming up is going to be some pretty cool ones. Anyway, I want to thank my sponsors again before we get to those. I'm teasing you when we see the next ones coming up. So thank you to Montana Pony Connection from Montana and Chimney Hill Ranch from Texas. So Dan and Bonnie Smith from Montana Pony Connection. And of course, Tommy and Suzanne Tomlin from Texas with Chimney Hill Ranch. Thank you guys for being sponsors tonight. We will show your pictures again of some of your horses, not all your horses, of course. So once Scotty put in some more stuff in the Chat GTP, there I am. And I told him I looked like a centaur or whatever, because I said, you didn't show the horse's head. And then Shane Jackson seen this one yesterday, and he goes, you don't wear glasses. I said, well, when I'm in finance and stuff, I do. But the computer shouldn't have known that. And then that's supposed to be a Jackson shirt with the golfers, but you can't tell that them are little golfers there. But then I told Scotty, I said, wouldn't it be cool if there was horses on my shirt? Well, you're going to see that coming up. So still there, kind of took the golfers off, and I'm starting to look like that actor that's in the Avengers. I think what's his name? Mark Rufio. I always say his name wrong, but and then look, that looks like a real POA standing back there. That's just an AI generated POA. And Scotty was just having so much fun doing these. Like I said, he did it all in one night, and there you see the golfers a little more. And but you can tell I'm AI generated it from a picture. And Shane said I should have been smiling. But then there's that POA again, and kind of the sunrise in the background. There's another version of it. I look a little smoother there. My hair's slicked back a little further. I'm going bald, I know. But hopefully, let's compare that AI to what I really look like. They took out the wrinkles and the age spots. That's okay. AI did good there. So, and then there's another one. Here we go. Look at this one. So he has the horses on my shirt. I like that. I think that's cool because that's the type we wear polo shirts. I'm wearing one tonight. This isn't a Jackson shirt. Bruce Jackson gave me this because it was too small for or too big for him when he ordered it. He ordered it from Germany or somewhere, and he knows I like purple, so I wear this shirt a lot of times on the podcast. You'll see me in a Nike shirt that's darker purple, and then this lighter purple. But anyway, we wear shirts with, like I say, patterns on them and stuff to sell cars around here. And then there's another AI generated POA, and then coming up, this one's a little different. I look a little different. Got a POA in there. Got some color on the sides. We don't have yellow going here. We have the orange. A little almost yellow on the bottom where it says host. But I hope you guys are enjoying all this. I had fun with this episode. This is going to be a quick, fun, short episode. It'll probably only be about a half an hour or so. So, Tommy, if you haven't popped the popcorn yet, you better get popping it because we'll probably only be around here another 10 minutes or so. But and then next week, of course, we're off, and then we're going to be off for a while now because we have Thanksgiving coming up. But December 3rd, we're going to be doing the Moms Tribute, the POA Moms Tribute. I'm going to have a couple guests that night. I'm looking for volunteers to be guests. And we're going to also read some stuff about moms if people want to send in some tributes about their POA moms. Like the Murfelds mom played the organ for POA shows in Iowa and stuff like that is what I'm kind of looking for. So in modern stories too, it can be something that happened this year, just a story about your mom's history in POAs. If they've passed away or if they're still with us, it doesn't matter. It's just going to be a tribute to moms, and that's because December 3rd is my mom's birthday, and it just happens that we're having a podcast that night. And then the big episode, the Stallion episode, I already have 3 booked. That's going to be December 15th and 16th, the Stallion roster. It'll be 2 nights. Hopefully we get about 30-some Stallions. Last couple of years we got 28. We usually have, anywhere from 25 to 30. So, and then I break it up into 2 nights so my voice doesn't get too hoarse. So that'll be cool. That'll be December 15th and 16th. The deadline for that is December 12th. So if you haven't got your Stallion in, start thinking about it. You get 5 pictures, a pedigree. It's $50. You can Venmo that or send a check. And but we've been doing that. This is the 5th annual on that. So we've been doing that every year. And that's always one of the highest rated episodes. And on YouTube too. That's for sure gets 10 times the viewers or more than all the others every year that episode does. So that's cool. So, all right, let's see what else Scotty had to offer. I was holding out for this one because I'll just let the cat out of the bag. This isn't the one I picked, but I do like this. This is all AI generated. Looks like mountains in the background and the sun. That's what ChatGTP thinks a POA or a version of a POA looks like. He's got everything in there. My POA podcast and Black Hand and Beyond, host Kent Rourke. I mean, I think this one's pretty cool. A lot of people like this one. What do you guys think? People that are watching this, you guys like this one? I like all of them, so far. It's pretty cool. But this one is, I think I might use this for certain things. I know you need branding. You need to stick to one thing kind of, but I'm just kind of tweaking things over the years. But I may use this on some stuff, maybe on some stickers or something. So it's going to be hard to choose. That's right, Albie. It's definitely going to be hard to choose. And then Jesse said the Stallion one, I have to send you stuff in. Okay, that's cool. Jan says, like that one? All right. Okay, so yeah, this is my favorite one of the ones Scotty did. And thanks, Scotty, for doing 10. Like I say, he was just sitting right next to me here at his desk, popping these out. And then he left and thought about it, and that's when he come up with the more brighter colored ones like this and stuff. Okay, so that was the last one of Scotty's. Saved the best for last, probably. So, and then again, like I say, this is what we started out with. If you remember, if you go back and when I played the song each Tuesday night when we first started, it was on Tuesday nights, and then we went to Wednesday night lately because that's my day off. But this was what you seen, and basically was my logo. And then thanks to David Brewer, he used to be a director from Tennessee, from the Southeast region. He lives in Tennessee, POA, and he came up with this for me. And this is cool. There's nothing wrong with this. I just thought I might want to change it up a little bit. And since these are real horses and stuff, and time moves on, and there does, he did get rid of the hands on the one, but then the tongue's out on the colt there, the yearling colt, and it really wasn't in the picture. And then the nose is like that, the muzzle is like that on Black Hand in the picture. He got it just like that. So, but he had the scroll work in the background and stuff. So I've enjoyed this one, and you'll see this maybe again. It's not going, away, just maybe in the vault a little bit. So I'm going to tease you guys a little bit before we get to the who I picked. Let's see, it's 6:56. So, I told you it'd be about a half an hour show. We got to talk about our sponsors again. If you want to go up and spend some time in Montana and maybe haul some cool POAs back home with you into a different region, go check out the Pony Connection, Montana Pony Connection up in Montana. Dan and Bonnie Smith. They're really cool to talk to. I'd never met them before, and I talked to them a couple nights for the podcast, and really great people. They're doing good things up there with their POAs and other horses too. And I think they have an Airbnb up there too, so check that out. And they're on Facebook and everything. And you see, like I said, postcard POAs, I call them. They have beautiful horses. Look at that mare there. If I had a pasture, I'd want her in it, that's for sure. So, and then that was their stallion they got from Mary in Colorado, and he was a little older already in that picture, but he passed away at I think about 25, and he put on some good babies all on the ground. And then of course this picture's kind of becoming an iconic picture now. Mare and a baby, and then another baby hanging out, and you see the mountain in the background, just kind of starting there. Mountain meadow pasture, doesn't get much better than that. And then of course our other sponsor is CHR, which is Chimney Hill Ranch, and that's Tommy and Suzanne Tomlin. Of course, Tommy just went off the board. He was a dedicated volunteer for years in POAs and a breeder and a member for a long time, had his kids in POAs in the 80s, and he was even president a couple years ago of the POA board. And this is one of his babies from this year, and then this is another one of his babies from this year. This is the Sunday Kid. The other one was Mighty Lucky, and then there's one of his stallions when he was a yearling. This is him in his everyday clothes. A lot of people know him. He's a champion sire, select sire and national champion sire, and a champion himself. So that's CHR, Destined to Be Tough. And then, of course, he's the old man now of the farm. This is CHR. He's Tough Enough. And he was a grand champion and multiple champion, but he was a grand champion as a small stallion at the Congress a few years back. Again, only the second stallion ever to do that, and the first one to do it in the new height limit, since it went from 46 to 56. So them are all CHR ponies there, and there's our two sponsors there, Montana Pony Connection and Chimney Hill Ranch. Thank you guys for being sponsors. If somebody else wants to be sponsors, I think I have one sponsor for a coming up episode. I have a lot of notes here, but I've been having a lot of sponsors lately, so that's nice. Bruns Performance Horses sponsored a couple weeks ago, and they're going to sponsor again for the Remembering Mom, so I have one open for that. And then I don't take sponsors for the stallion episode because I just all the stallion owners are the sponsors for that, so I don't double dip basically there. But then January 7th we'll be doing a conversation with David Spencer. That'll be a well-watched episode, a very good episode, and that's episode number 122. That'll be the first one of 2026, and that will be January 7th. So I'm looking for sponsors for that one. We're going to have David Spencer on the phone. Of course, he's a past president of the POAs, has a lot of horse experience and other things besides POAs, raised 3 great kids, and all in POAs, and got a lot of family connections too besides that. And that'll be about a 2-hour conversation, and I'll have to have a timer here. My phone will be up here, and I'll have to have it go boo, just like in the morning, and let me know, hey, we've reached the limit, because I'm sure we could talk for a long time. He's a very knowledgeable man about POAs and a lot of other stuff. So that'll be a cool episode in January. So again, thank you for the sponsors tonight. And we're going to get back here to our logos and wrap this baby up. So there's Jackson's again. They're sponsored in part by Jackson's of Enid. Come join the family.
Come join the family.
That's right. All right, so without further delay, I want to thank you. Thanks to Montana Krogman, I decided to pick yours. It's very similar to the one I did, and it's very similar. You just updated basically the one I did and the one David did. It's not the shiny glossy, but it's more of the flat black, and I just decided to go with this one. And I think it's pretty cool. My name's not on it. That's fine. That is a form of Blackhand there, and that's a form of a POA there. The one down on the right side, it's got everything on it. My POA podcast, bold and white, and then Blackhand and beyond, and the beyond's in yellow. I like that, the and beyond. So congratulations, Montana. This is the one I picked, and nothing against the other ones, but next week when you are in a couple, well, about 3 or 4 weeks, December 3rd, hopefully this will be the logo. When I push this button over here and you hear the music, the song, My Pony and Me, this will be the logo that's on there, hopefully. So again, I want to thank everybody for playing along tonight, and everybody that sent in, and all the sponsors, again, the Montana Pony Connection and Chimney Hill Ranch. And I also just want to kind of plug POA right now, be a cheerleader. Yay, she said, Montana. Congratulations again, Montana. Thanks for doing that. You did a great job. The convention's on us. It's going to be on us before you know it. It's in February. I know in Oklahoma, we had summer until like November 1st, and then we had winter. So we don't have much of a fall. It is going to be in the 70s again. We have kind of a false summer again, but we have 2 seasons, it seems like, in Oklahoma. We have summer and then we have winter. So it was, what did it get down to, 20-some degrees the other day? We finally had a hard freeze. But you can check out all the dates for all the big events on poac.org. And if you can get to Dubuque, it's not that bad. The cost, we try to keep the cost down. We really do. The hotel cost is, it's up there a little bit, but it's a beautiful hotel. And Dubuque is such a cool, small little town, small little city. It's like 50,000 people. They really revitalized the downtown area. They put a lot of money into that. The mayor came and spoke to us at the board meeting, kicked off the board meeting this year with that. And so that was kind of cool. There's a lot of little specialty shops and ice cream shops and stuff, a couple tack stores around there in town. And it's just a cool place. And that hotel has a lot of history. If you're there, you'll see what I mean by just the way it's set up. There's a restaurant in the hotel. So if you can make it to that, try to do it. Also, just announced we're going to have some speakers there. There's going to be some professional speakers about some nutrition, and also a veterinarian talking about some things. So more information will be coming out about that. I want to thank Ryan Kate for really spearheading that and pushing that, and that's going to be cool. So again, if you can get to the national events, try to, because it's just another place where you can network. Social media is cool, but eye to eye, and sitting down and eating an ice cream cone, and somebody eating a scoop of ice cream, and you're talking about your babies coming the next year and the plans or shows. You'd like to see this on the show schedule, or why do we do this? You can sit down personally with the board of directors and people and talk to them. It's just a cool event. So if you can make that. And then, of course, my favorite event of the year is always the Congress, the International. I like the futurity, and I like the banquet and everything too, in the convention. But Congress, that's where I've done all my research and stuff. The international show, I grew up going to that thing. That's in July, of course. Again, if you can get a horse ready and come and show at that, we're trying to keep the stall prices down and the costs down. Everything's going up all the time in the world. That price of everything goes up. I know that, selling cars. But if you can come and attend that, and you're helping yourself, you're helping the POAC, helping pay salaries and try to get more people working for POAC and promoting POA. The bigger those shows are, the better chance we have of getting sponsors to help us out too. So if you can try to attend the Congress, please start thinking about that now in November and December. Just like I'm hiring some judges right now for one of the deals that's going to happen. And, other people are hiring judges for the future. Think about showing in July right now. And that'd be cool. And then, of course, the futurity, that's all, nominations and stuff. That's a little different, but that's a good thing to do, too. If you got to marry, you want to put her in and stuff, and then buy the stud service for the next year for 27 and stuff. It's going to be in Gordyville again in 26. So, and of course, the Congress is going to be in Tulsa in 26. And then the convention is in Dubuque, Iowa. So also cool towns there. If you can we just got to keep being cheerleaders for POAC. I have so much history stuff. I was in my Monica and I storage shed today looking for our Christmas lights, and we have a guy, our 2 doors down, he actually has a side hustle where he puts up Christmas lights. He makes them for your house, and then so he contacted me the other day, and I said, well, I'm off Wednesday, I'll try to get them. So I was amongst stud books and reports, and there was reports in there from Sid Hutchcraft and stuff from the Murfeld, stuff I've collected, Monica's stuff from her grandparents, different things, and her dad, and a lot of history in there of our life and stuff. But there's all kinds of POA history in there, and I was stumbling across the stuff, and some of it was promotional stuff from the 50s and 60s and belt buckles and 70s and all the way up. So we got a great tradition, and it's still going strong. We just need to keep promoting it. So anyway, I'm done beating the drum, but we always got to do that. Again, congratulations to Montana. Let's put that back up here. There it is. The new logo for a while anyway. And again, thank you to Robin, Montana, Jesse, Michelle, Darcy, Scotty, and then of course to Dan and Bonnie for being sponsors, and Tommy and Suzanne for being sponsors, and the Jacksons family as well, and all the viewers that watch and everybody that'll watch. We usually, this will probably get a couple thousand views. That's pretty cool. So some people watch it over and over, and I like that too. So again, thank you everybody for watching tonight. And the song you're going to hear coming up, the picture that's going to be on the screen, hopefully December 3rd, that'll be Montana's version of that logo, and you can enjoy that. So tune in on December 3rd. Everybody have a safe holiday. Have a good Thanksgiving. Enjoy your family and stuff. And then I'll see you guys on December 3rd. Get your stallions in and watch Facebook for about the moms, remembering the moms on December 3rd, and about contacting me if you want to be a guest on that show, and always sponsors too. So all right everybody, thanks for watching. Good night.